Hello everyone. In July 2014, we visited Esther Rogers at her creative Jazzturtle studio in North Carolina. Esther was delighted to show us how she uses alcarders to produce such beautiful works of fiber art. So here she is with our Mad Batt'r making those neato art bats.
My name's Esther Rogers and I'm with Jazzturtle Creations, and today we'll be working on carding bats on the Strauch fiber drum carders. The carder I'm going to use here is the Mad Batt'r. This is a great carder. It works doing everything. 72 teeth per inch. You can card smooth fibers or you can also card textured art bats. The nice thing about this carder is it has 1/2 inch teeth, so you can get a nice thick bat. I like to always layer something smooth when I start because it's really easy to pull the bat off when you have a good layer of fiber down. So I start with just a mix. With the Mad Batt'r, you don't have to tease the fiber out quite as much, so I can leave a thicker layer of fiber on the feed tray, which will have a thicker, more textured layer of fiber going onto the drum. What's nice about the feed tray is that it allows a nice even layer of fiber over the drum, which is really great if you're worried about color placement or if you're blending fibers or colors together to create a specific blend or to create new fibers. Having an even layer creates for more even blending. So I've put a layer of fiber down on top. One of the great things to do is to bypass the liquor-in drum. The liquor-in drum opens your fiber up, which is really great if you're trying to create something lofty and fluffy. But if you want to keep texture, the best way to do that is put your fiber or add-ins directly on top of the drum, bypassing the intake. You can do this with sari silk, you can do this with yarn scraps, any kind of different locks and fleece. It's great to go direct to the top of the drum. So this is some sari silk bits that I've cut. You want sari silk to really be no longer than 6 inches. It gets kind of a mess. So I'll just cut it. When you put these sorts of add-ins on your drum, you want to make sure that you don't cover the break point because that makes it more difficult to pull the bat off. So what I'll do is I'll just load this right on top, and then I'll take some smoother fiber and I'll put the fiber over it, trapping it in and tricking the lick in so that it's not going to pull out what we've added in. It's going to take the fiber on top and smooth that out. I can do this with yarn scraps. Take my brush, smooth it down, and trapping those add-ins in. This is a great technique to do with locks as well. With the curl, if I were to put this through, it would open everything up. And so I stick it right on the drum where I want to. And this is a great use for your old paint brushes. And you can just smush that down. And then take a little bit of fiber, stick that right on top. And that texture that you're adding will stay in your bat as opposed to when you put something through. It gives you a nice layer of the fiber, but it really opens it up so you don't keep that texture like you're wanting to when you put it directly on the bat. Sparkle is a great thing to put on top. I like to think of my drum here as a canvas and I'm painting directly top it. So I take my Firestar or Angelina and I just hold them against the drum and crank. And that allows me to decide exactly where I'm going to put the sparkle. And your brush smooths down any flyaway fibers. This is some washed alpaca fleece. Again, I'm not really picking it out like I would if I were using the higher cloth carders. what I start to look for is the pins filling, and that'll start to give me an idea of that the drum is starting to be full. Also, the liquor-in never collects fiber until your main drum is full. So if you're starting to get bits of fiber here, that's a clue that you've probably filled your main drum. Another way to create art bats on the Mad Batt'r is to do a mini sandwich. As opposed to putting your sandwiches directly onto the drum, if you don't mind the fiber being opened, you can create a sandwich on your feed tray where I take a layer of smooth fiber and then I take some texture. And you want to do this in very smooth layers. And I'll take another layer of something smooth and open it up. And then that can go through. And when I do the sandwich method through the liquor-in, it puts the texture in a nice layer over the drum, as opposed to me determining where I'm going to put those bits of texture. So if you're using locks, it'll open that up a little bit more, but it will give you a nice even layer. So you have to decide when you're designing, do you want the color or texture in a specific piece, or do you want it more even, and that'll allow you to determine where exactly you're going to put the fiber through.